It's a new month on Fortitude Through Stoicism. We are talking about pragmatism. And this is my 365-day journey of implementing the ancient philosophy of Stoicism into the life of this modern masculine man. We're into August, we're in a new month, and about a year and a half ago, when I was working with a specialized coach, a CEO muse, she helped me with a breakthrough. Realized that I'm not an alpha, I'm actually a sigma, I'm a very different archetype. And through that research, I realized, listening to some videos and doing some deep dives, that one of the ways to appeal to a sigma is to appeal to his pragmatic self. So I was always curious what that was, and again, filed that away for let's do research on that later. And so here we are in the middle of August, pragmatism, and it is part of Stoicism. So I said, what is pragmatism, right? What does it mean? Essentially, pragmatism has multiple meanings, but it really comes down to a way of dealing with problems or situations that focus on practical approaches. So essentially, pragmatism is about the practical application of something, not theory, not ideology, not doctrine, right? So let's step back and let's look at this, right? So in the world, right? Communism sounds like an amazing idea. Everyone's equal, everyone always has a job, there's no one's better than anyone, you always have this safety net. In theory, that sounds amazing. But in practical application of communism, aka North Korea, Cuba, China, pretty much up until the 2000s, they're more, capitalistic. But really, when you look at communism, we realize that you have to murder people. There's corruption. Like, it is not, the practical application of communism doesn't match the theory or the ideology. Very much similar to most of politics, and this is why people struggle, because there are so many people who believe, oh my God, this is such a great idea, this feels so good to want to help these people, but the practical application is, it's like when you go to the zoo, it says don't feed the animals because they get used to people feeding them, right? Well, same shit. Don't feed the people, let them feed themselves. So pragmatism, again, a way of dealing with problems or situations that focus on practical applications and solutions. Pragmatism involves paying attention to the particular context and not being weighed down by doctrine or ideology. So, today's lesson, don't go expecting perfection. And the quote today is by Marcus Aurelius. Remember, this is in his personal journal, never meant for human consumption. But he was talking to himself. He says, that cucumber is bitter, so toss it out. There are thorns on the path. Well, then cut them away. Enough said. Why ponder the existence of a nuisance? Such thinking would make you a laughing stock to a true student of nature. Just as a carpenter or cobbler would laugh if you point out that there's sawdust and chips on the floor of the workshop. So what Marcus is saying here is, we want things to go perfect, but it's never the perfect time, it's never the perfect situation. Nature is never going to be perfect. So that's where we're talking about pragmatism, right? So I want to do this thing, and in my mindset I see all these perfect arrangements, right? Perfect alignment. Well, in reality, nothing ever lines up. Things always go wrong. They never go the way that you want them to. So that's where Stoicism teaches us, hey, listen, there's acceptance involved here. I understand that nature is going to be what it is. People, external circumstances, whatever. I can't control that. I can accept the fact when things go sideways. I can make the best plan according, but sometimes shit's gonna go sideways, right? And I use this, and I'm gonna use my example of my career, my travel, right? So I fly 4 to 7 times a week. Most people complain endlessly about travel. Flights are delayed. Yes, All of those things are always true. So what I've learned is, if I understand that I'm going to be late, my plane is going to be delayed, I'm going to have a nearly impossible connecting flight, planes are going to get canceled last minute, I'm going to have to figure out travel the next day. All of these things happen to me every single day. Every single day. Matter of fact, I'm sitting in Milwaukee because last night there was no planes out. I was supposed to be out of here. So here I am again, Milwaukee. But since I know that, I'm not going to be exposed to that later, because it's not going to be perfect. And I know there's not a lot of late flights out of Milwaukee. So when assignments come out, here I'd be in the same situation. So after I finish these videos, I'm gonna go do some shaving and I'm gonna get in the car and I'm gonna drive to Chicago. I'm gonna drive 2 hours to Chicago. Why? Because I can control that drive. And by putting myself at a major hub with other airports right around, Midway or O'Hare, I have a lot of options for flights. I'm in a major hub, which puts me at a much better advantage for executing a project later. Now, shit's gonna go sideways. That's why I'm gonna do what I can to make the best of it. So today, we won't let our honest understanding of the world stop us from trying to make the best of it, nor will we let petty annoyances and minor obstacles get in the way of the important job we have to do. And remember, as a Stoic, our first and primary job is to be a good human being. And on that, it's time for me to go execute.